Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and welcome to Knife AQ episode 116, the knife series where I answer all of your questions, whether they're sharp or dull. This week, we've got some cool topics to talk about, including gimmicks. What are some gimmicky features on knives these days? Let's get into it. All right, everybody, welcome as always. Now, the deal with these episodes is we pull questions from our comments section and try to find some helpful answers to give to you folks. So if you have a question and you would like it to be answered on a future episode, to have a shot at that happening, just drop it in the comments section below. First question today comes from Brian S. He has a very particular set of needs. And sometimes these questions get really interesting. So you have to really think about what are the priorities here. At least I did on this one. Brian S. asks, I am a ski coach and I have to scrape snow off the bottom of ski boots regularly. I'll use this knife when with gloves or even mittens on my hands as opposed to elsewhere. I need to keep it in my pocket when skiing. It absolutely can't open on me even when I fall. It will get wet and cold, so I'd like something with strong corrosion resistance. Smaller and lightweight are a bonus. Less expensive is preferred, but I'll pay what is required to meet my needs. It's a good attitude to have, and I've got two options here for you. One that is less expensive, one that is a little bit more premium. I think it's worth the money personally, but I'll let you decide. This is what I mean by interesting. There's no like skiing knife genres out there. So I had to think about this a little bit.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, it's true. Give it time. So I'll say right up front, there's always a chance something could come open when things are tumbling and forces are doing what they're not normally doing to your body and your equipment and all of that. It is entirely possible that even the safest thing can open. So just want to cover our butts there right up front. We're not lawyers, but don't come after us.
The universe is a funny place.
The universe is a fickle mistress, as they say. But I do have an option here for you. I'm going to show you the more expensive version first because I think it's worth it. Personal opinion anyway. Benchmade Mini Barrage. Price on this is about $171. Now, this has a few things going for it that I think are going to work out in your favor for this particular example. One, to stand the best shot of it not opening without going with like a fixed blade with multiple attachment, multiple retention methods, this knife has a spine-mounted safety that will lock the blade closed. There are other knives that have this, a safety mechanism involved, but the reason I'm showing you this knife is for the other reasons we'll also get to. When it's time to deploy the blade, this is an assisted opening knife. So if you're wearing gloves, wearing mittens, or if your fingers happen to be just really cold, it's going to be very easy to open this knife. You've got a 3-inch drop point blade on this bad boy, 154 cm steel. Your corrosion resistance is going to be just fine. And finally, the other thing I like about this is the axis lock. That crossbar mechanism is finger safe. And again, if you're dealing in the cold and your fingers are also really cold, wet, they might not be functioning to their full dexterity that you might be used to. The fewer opportunities for accidental slicing, accidental cuts, the better. Because last thing you want when you're on the side of a mountain somewhere is to be bleeding out, of course. That would not be great. On top of that, this is great when you get back to the lodge or go back into town too. Nice small little blade, really capable, however, and a nice thick handle there. Plenty to grip onto even in gloves or in other situations too. Not the least expensive thing in the world, however. I do have a more budget-oriented option for you to check out. The Mini Boost from Benchmade is also an option. It's a little bit less money, a little bit bigger, and better steel. Funny how that works out. But they're kind of out of stock everywhere right now. But check out the Highbrow series from Gerber. This is the standard size. It's a little bit bigger on the blade, Blade length is 3 3/8. It's a 7CR steel, so really, quite basic stuff. And the price is still around $50 in this case too. You do have a crossbar style mechanism. You do have assisted opening, although it is the flipper mechanism as opposed to a thumb stud. No practical, or there is practical difference, but no difference in terms of appropriateness for your question. And you do have the spine mounted safety as well. I will say it's a bit heavier with the aluminum handles here. This knife comes in 5, almost 6 ounces, whereas the Benchmade rather is 3.4 ounces, so significantly less there. Although there is the Highbrow Compact, which I'll get to here in a second, and I'll tell you why I'm not recommending this knife. Its size is more akin to the Mini Barrage, but you get an extra ounce of weight. Now, the Benchmade definitely feels orders of magnitude better put together. Take that under advisement. I wouldn't recommend the Compact, however, and that's because of the pocket clip. It's the same clip as on the full size, but because of the placement and the angle, putting it close to the spine, pretty much everyone I've handed this to here in the office, if you're wearing gloves, it's not gonna be a big problem, but in bare hands, that clip really does dig in uncomfortably, rendering it, in my mind, kind of unusable for anything but like very light tasks. So there you go. Some other stuff out there that I didn't show you. SOG has a bunch of assisted opening crossbar lock knives with spine mounted safeties. They are all pretty much D2 tool steel, however, not a stainless steel. They are coated, so that mitigates it a little bit, but those could be an option to look at as well. But I'd check out the Benchmade if I were you. If I were me, I would. So I'm gonna recommend that to you too. Next up, B. Crow. Hey DCA, can you suggest a one-hand opening knife that features scissors for around the house carry? I'm currently carrying a Victorinox Compact with a KeySmart pocket clip, which works great, but I miss one-hand opening fidget factor, my other blade-only knives. The only knives I've seen to come close are the Clip-A-Tool, the Ellis, and the Civivi Crit, which doesn't have scissors. Otherwise, it'd be exactly what I was looking for. Here, I do have an option for you. My around the house carry is not this one actually, but I've been carrying my Free T2 from Leatherman because it has one-hand opening blade, but it's not super fidgety. Check out the Free K series, the K4 specifically. Here it is. This is the partially serrated version, but plain edge is also available. About $100. It has a bit of fidgetability in it. Pull the lock bar back and you can flick it open. Just make sure it closes properly. As you can see, it's easy for it to bounce. But flip it around onto the back and you've got the extra bits. Not just scissors, which of course is what you're primarily looking for, but also a scraper / flathead screwdriver and awl / smaller flathead screwdriver, and a Phillips driver with a bottle opener. All right there, with a pocket clip. Not the most comfortable handle in the world either, but better than the Highbrow Compact there. And you got this going on. One other option actually, if you want to go whole hog and you want something a little bit bigger even, this is a 5.5 ounce thing for the pocket. But Thomas, there it is. The P series of the Free lineup, whether you go to the P2 or P4, they're plenty fidgety. You do all kinds of fun stuff with these. And you get way more than just scissors and a knife. Probably a bit overkill for what you're looking for, but it does have a pocket clip, so you could carry it as such if you wished. Thank you, Thomas.
Okay.
Okay. Ja Waring now says, Emerson Wave is a gimmick. Can't believe that a company like KnifeCenter would even mention it. Well, we mention it because we sell them and they are commonplace enough in the industry, but I don't entirely disagree with you. If you're unfamiliar with the Emerson Wave, here it is, shown on the Kershaw Emerson CQC6K, a $52 knife. It's this little hook-shaped thing on the spine right here. If you don't know what it does, it allows you to, as you draw the knife from your pocket, if you angle it in just the right way, you can catch the hem of your pocket and open the blade as you draw the knife. Is it a gimmick? A bit, but it is a gimmick that I think happens to work very well if you know how to use it effectively. And it doesn't get in the way if you don't want to use it at all. In fact, on this knife, it provides a rather nice thumb ramp for pushing off with your thumb, or index finger if you want to flip it around that way. But it leads me to kind of thinking about the word gimmick in the knife industry today. And this is where I want to hear from you folks in the comments section. What are some knife gimmicks out there that you like, don't like, would love to see disappear? Let me know down in the comments. Maybe it'll spark some conversation in a future episode. All right, now we come to the section we call Measured Once, Cut Twice, where we take a second slice at a previous question. And this one is from last week's episode where I asked you for some knife-based pickup lines. You guys had some good ones, but my favorite one that I'm gonna share today is a little bit cheesy, but I like it because I'm a big softy sometimes. It's from Aragorn Vitali. Are you a Swiss Army knife? Because you got all I need and I want to take you everywhere.
Poet.
It's so nice. It makes you just go, oh, that's lovely. And the cool thing actually about I think the best thing about the analogy dealing with Swiss Army knives is there's a body type for everyone. That's fun. I like that. Check out the comments section from last week's video. There were quite a few good ones down in there. Can't share them all, unfortunately. But now we come to our lightning round for today. Yakov Hasoon says, a gentleman's knife? I'm sorry, but gentlemen don't carry knives around. I disagree, but rather than roast you here, I'll open this up to the comments section below. Why should a gentleman carry a pocket knife?
I got my reasons.
Share them in the comments section, would you, Thomas?
Okay.
Or you can wait and we'll see what everyone else has to say.
That might be wise.
Next question, Lloyd, and why do multi-tools still have can openers? Cans have opened with pull tabs for about 20 years now. Such a waste of a tool slot. Well, I will say, I went camping last weekend and we had some canned food that was newly purchased that did not have pull tabs. So there is still a utility for it in that regard. But is a knife, or is this almost a gimmick nowadays? Let me know. But more specifically, if you out there agree with Mr. Lloyd and don't like the can opener, for those of you that fall into that camp, what would you replace it with? I'm genuinely curious. And since we have some bonus time here, this is the MKM Campo 8, a KnifeCenter exclusive with a very cool tool set. And this was brought to our attention. Someone was curious about why the can opener was on this side of the knife. What I mean by that is, let me pull out a similar Swiss Army knife right here. As you can see, you come in on a can with a Swiss Army knife right here. You want it on the layer closest to the, can, the imaginary can that's right here. And that would seem to not work out so well with the Campo. Well, the reason is there's actually a different design philosophy here. You actually want to walk backwards around it. It might seem awkward at first because intuitively every other one out there walks forward. If you walk backward, it's easier, honestly, to pull up rather than push forward. We're talking degrees of difference here, certainly, but you can exert more leverage in a less strenuous way. And if you're opening a dozen cans like I did over the weekend, this is going to save you a little bit of repetitive motion injury. Or you do what I did and I used the twist one. I didn't actually use one of these. But we've used this. It's in the reverse method like that. Works very well. And now we come to our final question of the day, which is, of course, our most serious question of the day, which comes from Lost Beagle. I'm looking for a sharp piece of metal with a handle and a point. Any suggestions? Sounds like you're describing the Tops Hoffman harpoon, my good friend. Sharp piece of metal, handle, point. Eh?
That's the recipe.
There you go. And that's all we have for this week, folks. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for keeping this series going with me. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, click the links in the description. And if you have a question for a future episode and would like it considered, drop it in the comments below. While you're over at the site, don't forget about our Knife Rewards program, because if you're picking up one of these knives today, you might as well earn some free money to spend on your next ones. I'm David C. Anderson from the KnifeCenter. That's Thomas behind the camera, and we're signing off. See you next time.